Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. We're all having a great day. Today we have racing in the Xfinity Series as well as the Cup Series at Talladega and Kentucky. But first, we have some news to start off this episode here. Not very common this season, but it's an interesting one. The McLaren team has actually caused NASCAR to launch an investigation on our team, Gordon-Hendrick Motorsports, after McLaren has accused us of cheating. Quote from Jeff Gordon, "We're slower than McLaren, so if there's anyone cheating, well, it's McLaren," said Jeff Gordon. Like I said, then another quote from myself: "I think they're just salty over us finishing races better when we're slower than that team, to be honest." And then Zach Brown is confident NASCAR will find something to do with us cheating to find this speed to get these wins lately. Now, NASCAR has confirmed this investigation will be over multiple weeks, so it's going to be a few episodes till we really hear about what's going on, but this could create some regulation changes here in the career mode, so stay tuned on that. But McLaren thinks we're cheating here in the Cup Series, and if you look back to, of course, the preseason or the off-season video we did, and I showed you guys what it was looking like in the order of the teams for preseason testing, we weren't even in the top 5, so it was an absolute shock that we've come out and won 7 of the 9 races so far this season, and the only 2 other winners in a Gordon-Hendrick car is Chase Elliott for McLaren, as well as the number 83 Red Bull driver of Christian Eckes. So we've been doing a tremendous job. Of course, Blaney's gotten to victory lane. We've gotten to victory lane a couple times. Kyle Larson's won now 4 races this season. He's been on top of it. So yeah, I mean, McLaren forces NASCAR to launch an investigation after accusations of cheating. We haven't been informed yet on what we are being investigated over, so that will probably be coming in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. Now, as you can see though, focusing on the actual racing aspect of this episode, Paul Menard behind the wheel of our number 77 Chevrolet Camaro here in the Xfinity Series for the Moneyline 300 at Talladega Superspeedway. He was really moving his way throughout the field very quickly. We jumped straight through to the final lap. Paul had actually gotten up into P3. He was doing a tremendous job and actually makes a move to the right-hand side of the number 11 car of A.J. Allmendinger and actually would sign draft him a little bit right there. And as it came through at a turn 2, he gets clear. And now up to second place goes Paul Menard. He actually got the wall out of turn 2. And unfortunately, that hurt his momentum going down the back straightaway for the final time. Ray Black Jr. leading the way into turn 3, but he would actually go to the top and leave the door wide open for Paul to go up the inside through 3 and 4, and now just like that, clear for the lead out of turns 4 and down the front straightaway. Now just has to hold off both that 07 and the 11 car of Allmendinger on the inside through the trial, though it's looking pretty good as Paul Menard sure enough is going to hang on to get his second win on the season here in our final season of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. So a great result there for Paul. As you look at the rest of the finishing order, Kimi Räikkönen up there in the top 10, Grosjean just outside of the top 10, Allgaier down there, P23, Quinn Houff 25th place, as you see Josh Bilicki at the very bottom now as we come through into the Cup Series side of things for this weekend with, once again, for the 3rd episode in a row, we got the Razor Flames paint scheme on the car. I mean, now I'm just forcing it because I'm like, we gotta get a top 10 at least with this paint scheme on the car to confirm that is not bad luck whenever we run this paint scheme. Last time out in Road America, we had a top 10 run going, maybe even top 5 if we settled down enough, but unfortunately we got a speeding penalty and got hit off the track by Joey Logano a few times, so that kind of messed us over. But we come through to qualify here with a 30.996, and that puts us down in 18th place for the Quaker State 400. So not the greatest qualifying effort, but we usually race a lot better than we qualify at a track like Kentucky, or just about any track for that matter. Now, as you see the qualifying order, the Gordon-Hendrick teammates, Blaney down in 25th, Kyle Larson behind us, so not a great qualifying effort except for Alex Bowman, who's up there in P8, but the AlphaTauri of Brandon Jones on pole with Chase Elliott there joining him on the front row, Lewis Hamilton as well up inside the top 5. So as you look down towards the bottom of the field, though, in the very last spot, you got the rookie of Ty Gibbs for Joe Gibbs Racing. Alright, boys, it's been a rough stretch of races here lately, but I'm confident we can turn it around. We got our normal mile and a half back, so I don't see why we can't have a good run here tonight. Let's go get it. And there you hear myself over the radio to the team now as we get ready to go green here for the Quaker State 400. Trying to turn our rough stretch of races around. It's been an interesting season so far where we started off really strong, got a couple wins, and then we've been kind of in a slump now, as you see Ross Chastain there for Trackhouse failed optical scanning station a few times. He's starting at the back along with Timmy Hill, who failed technical inspection there in that Chip Ganassi Racing Chevrolet Camaro in that number 40 Target Chevrolet. So getting ready, though, to go green. Now we move up a spot due to Chastain going to the back. Now on the inside in P17 as the green flag is out and we are underway. Brandon Jones, Chase Elliott lead the way to the green flag now, as we definitely got to keep an eye on Brandon Jones and that AlphaTauri team. They're looking for just a little bit more speed to really be a contender now, as they've been close but not close enough. And obviously last season they were Gaunt Brothers Racing, and then they transitioned to this AlphaTauri team for this season, but they made it to the championship 4 last season with Brandon Jones behind the wheel, and unfortunately came up short of a championship at Las Vegas Motor Speedway when Kyle Busch pretty much took all of us in the Final Four to school and was able to get his 4th Cup Series championship. Joe Gibbs Racing, one of those teams that has just been off this season after some just R&D improvements from other teams over the offseason. That has put JGR a little ways down. Ty Gibbs hasn't even been in the mix. Kyle Busch, he's one of the last guys in right now, or maybe even just below the cut line. And then, of course, Harrison Burton has been doing a solid job, and Rajah Caruth has been doing a solid job as well, but none of them have been winning races, unfortunately. Now as we came through, though, to lap 3, Bubba Wallace actually got into my left rear quarter panel into turns 1. That kind of pushed me up the hill, and then we actually lose the spot there. And now on the inside, we got the 41 of Brad Keselowski taking us 3 wide with Harrison Burton as I actually get into the side of the 41 there, and that messes me up even more into the corner. And now we're going to allow Kyle Busch to our inside, and as we exit turns 4, now we're down in 20th place as we come through to complete this 3rd and opening few laps of this race so far. Now as you see, the 20 of Rajah Caruth was out in front now as we would finally get down to the inside on lap 5 right behind our teammate of Ryan Blaney. So definitely not the start we were looking for here from Kentucky now, as we are up to P21, closing in on the back of that 41 of Keselowski, but clearly we've got quite a bit of work to do if we want to be able to be a contender tonight. So I was already thinking about adjustments to make to this car because it just didn't feel that great now. It felt really tight at times, and obviously we're trying to get rid of that, but I was expecting it to loosen up later in the run, so I was like, you know what, actually might want to make the car even tighter just in case. But now on lap 7, looking at the inside of the Penske driver, Ryan Preece. Penske Racing, another team, has been a little bit off this season. Joey Logano's been kind of leading that team. He's the only guy that's been really consistent, and then you got the number 12 of Briscoe, who's been pretty decent, but now at the inside of our teammate of Alex Bowman. He started up inside the top 10, the only Gordon-Hendrick car to do so, but now as we pass him, he's going to be the worst running one after 8 laps in this race. So clearly they don't have a good race trim car. So we come through now to lap 9, making it 3 wide with Kyle Busch and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton, another driver who qualified towards the front. He was P3, and now he's down outside of the top 15 here as we exit turns 4. So unfortunate to see him fading down the order. Hopefully they can get some work done on that car now as you would get past Kyle Busch. Hamilton was still on my outside as we came through at a turn 2 halfway through this first and opening stage, but we're just slowly moving our way back forwards, making up for those positions that we lost there in the first couple of laps of this race. Now as the 45 of Derek Kraus for 2311 got out in front now as we came through at a turns 2 on lap 11, actually into the outside wall. I made a mistake through turns 1 and 2, and now we're 3 wide in the middle with Kyle Busch and Hamilton. Some contact with Hamilton and into turns 3. That's going to send the Mercedes 7-time F1 champion crashing, and then the Red Bull gets involved of the 83 of Christian Eckes, a few other drivers as well. Now as the Mercedes and Red Bull involved in the same accident. Where have we seen that before? Not even in NASCAR, but that was all on me right there. I just made a mistake, and I came to the pit lane to take 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel, and some drivers stayed out. So there was about 10 drivers or so that decided they were going to stay out. So this gets us back underway with only 4 laps to go in this first stage, and we're down in 26th place. So definitely going to be hard to get stage points at this point. Sorry, 5 laps to go here in this first and opening stage. Noah Gragson just behind myself now, as they're going to be 3 wide already up in front of us now. Lewis Hamilton, by the way, who literally just crashed, is now on the front row because he was one of the guys that stayed out after he just got junked by myself, taking him out in turns 3. So now as we came through the center of 3 and 4, though, I'm moving up the track here to try and just get away from all those slower cars that just kind of like to go to the inside. So I unfortunately, though, briefly got stuck behind my teammate of Kyle Larson. 4 wins on the season for Kyle Larson. That is 4 more than he had last season here. Now as we go down into turns 1, though, you can just see this absolute mess in front of us. 4 wide even. You see Logano up there, Anthony Alfredo, the 8 of Zane Smith, as well as Daniel Suarez for Going Racing, who's been having a really rough season. And of course it's not a Suarez issue, it's just a team issue now. As we came through, though, turns 3, we just continue to move our way forwards now, as we're going to have to make our way past our arrival of Logano get very aggressive there. Some contact made with Logano 4 wide through the tri-oval. I side draft the 40 just a tiny bit right there to try and pull him backwards to mess up the 22's momentum, and that worked perfectly for myself. And now to 16th place we would go, and we would just continue moving forward. We would eventually, as we were approaching the final lap in stage 1, get past Ty Gibbs and climb all the way up into 11th place as we came through on this final lap out of turns 2 the 17 of Christopher Bell, leading the way down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. And this would be the first time this season that Roush LeBron Racing is going to get a stage victory as we exit turns 4. It's not going to be stage points for us. We get to the back to the 16 of Haley, but not enough there for 10th place, so we have to settle there for P11. Obviously, stage points don't matter a whole lot. The only thing that really matters for us is playoff points at this point now, since we already have those 2 wins that we need to get into the playoffs. So you see some damage on the back of the 44 of Lewis Hamilton's car. Wonder where that came from. But now we're all going to come back into the pit lane once again for 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires. And if I could have had that last pit stop back, I would have just stayed out in general and just tried to get some potential playoff points now. As I was looking at making some more potential adjustments, and you can see me adjusting the tire pressures a little bit now, and the grill tape, we were considering moving that up, as well as I was trying to make a lot of adjustments there, and we actually are very fortunate to gain 3 positions on the pit lane. So now we're going to be up inside the top 10 here in P8 for the start of stage 2, where Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott lead the way to the green flag. And now here in stage 2 in Kentucky, it is time to get amped. There you have the AMP segment here from Kentucky Speedway, now up into P6 as we go down into turns 1 and 2 right behind that McLaren driver of Eric Jones. Didn't know if I wanted to race these guys hard or not in that McLaren team, considering, of course, what has happened all of a sudden with them launching, or making NASCAR launch an investigation on our team here. But now actually a caution comes out early into stage 2, but nobody was going to come into the pit lane here, so that means we're just going to get ready to start here in P6 on the outside line there of row number 3. Ryan Blaney out of nowhere has apparently some legitimate speed, because he started behind us. I think he was the worst qualifier for Gordon-Hendrick there in like 25th, and now here he is up in the lead. So now as well, you saw Harrison Burton was at the very bottom there. He is out of this race. He brought out the caution now as we get ready to go back green from Kentucky Speedway now, as it's going to be 10 laps to go here in stage 2. And I was surprised to be running up this far, to be honest now, because I didn't feel like we had a 6th place car. Obviously, we saw in stage 1 we struggled quite a bit. We've had a lot more takeoff speed here now as it's going to get aggressive 3 wide. Jones took a 3 wide with Christopher Bell, as well as Rashad Carruth there in the 20 car. So he moves up there into the battle for the lead with Ryan Blaney now, as we got Max Gutierrez up our inside as we go down into turns 3. The Richard Petty Motorsports rookie having a strong run here today now, as we're going to make a 3 wide with both him as well as Chase Elliott as we go down this front straightaway. The 2 McLarens of Elliott and Jones very strong today, but their other teammate of Sam Mayer a little bit off the pace now, as we see a lot of back and forth between which ones of those 3 run really good and not so much for the other guy and whatnot. So it's always interesting to see how that kind of works out now as we go down this back straightaway. Still side by side there with Gutierrez as we go down into turns 3, just trying to clear him for that 6th spot, but it was actually pretty tough here to pull that off now as it came through at turns 4, but we get clear. We kind of chopped his nose on the exit of the corner, but we make it work. So now with 8 laps to go, all of a sudden out of nowhere comes the 45 of Derek Kraus. He blew my doors right off, and all of a sudden within the next lap or two I was back under attack here. Gutierrez got my inside. Here comes the 99 of Ross Chastain for Trackhouse Racing, who started at the back of the field after failing optical scanning station. Well, now he was moving up into the top 10, so it was a little bit chaotic here towards the end of stage 2, but then we fight back now up the inside of the 43 of Gutierrez once again now as we go down into turn 3. Blaney continuing to lead the way, but the 45 of Derek Kraus was setting an unbelievable pace here in this second stage, and clearly going to be very tough to beat here in Kentucky now as we're back up the inside of the 9 of Chase Elliott with just 3 laps to go. In stage 2, on the bright side, looking like we're going to get some stage points here in a potential P7 as we get clear of that 9 car. Then with 2 laps to go, coming to the final lap, up the inside of the number 99 of Ross Chastain. Once again, here as we came through at a turn 4, very close right there now as we were maybe an inch apart now as we go down this front stretch. So Ryan Blaney leading the way here down into turns 1. 1 win on the season so far for Ryan, and that came at Phoenix Raceway. He hasn't really been up in the mix to win races this season, but Phoenix, he just kind of was in the right place, right time on a final restart, made a good move to take the lead away. And here he is today, though, clearly showing that he's going to have speed that can win this race if he can hold off that 45 of Derek Kraus. As you see me send it up the inside one more time of Ross Chastain as we exit turns 4, still keeping it clean as possible as we go down this front straightaway. It's going to be close. It might even be 3 wide at the line there as Chastain gets us, and we have to settle there for the 7th position in stage 2. So 4 points there, and I mean overall was a pretty satisfying second stage, because when we come to Kentucky I really honestly don't expect to be running in the top 10 very much. We've had a lot of rough races at this racetrack in the past seasons of this NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. So once again coming into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires, and you saw myself making a few adjustments there, specifically on the right rear tire pressure. Hopefully that will make a bit of a difference for us in the long run here going into this 3rd and final stage, as Ryan Blaney picks up a playoff point there on top of the win he picked up at Phoenix. Now as we gain 2 spots on the pit lane, Eric Jones in the McLaren loses 2 spots, so he goes down to 7th. We jump up into 5th place where he originally was. So we just swap places now as a green flag is back out. The 3rd and final stage is underway. Not a great restart there for the 99 of Ross Chastain now as we're going to try and get up the inside of that 45 of Derek Kraus into the corner now, and sure enough, we're going to be able to get side by side with him, and now this is going to allow us to move up all the way into 4th place. Christopher Bell there in the number 17 car having a tremendous run today. Roush LeBron Racing, and specifically Bell in general, has just been really good. That's the best the 17 cars ever run in this NASCAR Heat 5 career mode so far. And now he goes to the lead out of turns 4 there, side by side with Ryan Blaney. You saw the 45 of Kraus getting aggressive now as Eric Jones comes through the middle, and he is going to get past myself as well as we go down into turns 1 in the Quaker State 400 here in this 3rd and final stage. Behind us we got Gutierrez as well as Chastain side by side now as we exit the corner. It's still side by side up front between Blaney as well as the number 17 Christopher Bell, but it looked like Bell got clear into turn 3, but then he moves up to the top, leaving the door wide open for Ryan Blaney to slip back up the inside and pass him on the exit of turns 4. Kraus up into P3. Definitely got to keep an eye on him now, as I was just doing everything I could to try and stick with Eric Jones right here, but unfortunately on the exit of turns 2 on lap 46 I was losing touch with the top 5, and I was falling back to the guys in 6th, 7th, 8th place now as Gutierrez. He was able to get past me, and I was just desperately trying to just not give up the bottom, but unfortunately as we came through out of turns 4, now the 12 of Chase Briscoe gets up our inside. Here comes Joey Logano, our rival to our quarter panel and door, as we go down into turns 1, and all of a sudden our top 10 is in jeopardy here as we close in towards the final 20 laps of this race. I didn't feel like the pace had fallen off in this car. I just felt like the AI were just downright beating me here in this 3rd and final stage. Now Sam Mayer looks up my inside into turns 3. Logano, he's going to go to the top. I'm thinking about taking it 3 wide in the middle if I can. Unfortunately, I couldn't quite pull it off right there. So out of turns 4, Chase Elliott goes through, and finally, right here is my opportunity to get back down to the bottom in between Elliott as well as my teammate Kyle Larson, immediately getting aggressive with that 9 car. Now it's actually a crash behind us. Kyle Busch, a 4-time Cup Series champion, into the wall he goes, and my goodness, the 41 of Keselowski near nearly slammed into him. DeBenedetto in the 10 got a piece of it. Caution is out. We come into the pit lane here, and I realized my only chance is to take 4 tires if I want to do anything here in this final stage at this point, and everybody here either took no tires or 2 tires, so we lose 14 positions, so we give up quite a bit of track position. But now with 17 laps to go when we cross the line, well, we have 17 laps to use 4 fresh tires to our advantage, which the AI drivers do not have, including the leader of Rajah Caruth, Ryan Blaney, of course, up there, Derek Kraus. None of them have fresh tires, so this is our opportunity now. As in the long run, I'm really just trying to hope we can get a top 10, basically. Now, even with this really good advantage, our pace usually at Kentucky, it should only equal out to maybe a top 10 finish. So up the inside there of Ryan Prieston, I was just trying to be really aggressive. I didn't want to wait around here because we know that eventually the tire advantage that we do have is going to kind of equal out, and then we're going to just be like, it's going to look like we're on the same tires as everybody else. So the goal was to just use as much of this tire as I could right off the bat, and I felt like I was doing a pretty good job. Now to lap 55, passing Chase Elliott, who's drifted outside of the top 10. Ryan Blaney in the number 25 back out in front, and he was a good couple car lengths ahead of the 17 of Christopher Bell, so he was looking pretty good. Now as I'm up the inside of the 12 of Briscoe into turns 1, we get past him, and now up the inside of Ross Chastain as we try to move up into the 12th position, but only 10 laps to go, unfortunately, in this race, so we're running out of time. And like I said, the goal was really to see if we could get at least to the top 10. So now up the inside of the number 43 of Max Gutierrez here as we go down into turns 1. He goes sideways after some contact with us, but makes the save right there through 1 and 2. Now into the top 10 we go behind Daniel Suarez and that number 77 going racing Yellow Heart Chevrolet Camaro. Then with 8 laps to go, we got up the inside of him into turn 3 as well, trying to make a pass on the McLaren driver of Sam Mayer there in P8, right on his quarter panel as we exit turns 4. Like I said, definitely going to be very aggressive with these McLaren drivers for the time being now, until we see how this investigation goes with NASCAR. Now as we came through turns 1 and 2, though, I was trying to complete the pass on Mayer. Doesn't work. Kyle Larson gets in my left rear quarter panel as we came through out of turn 2, so he was taking advantage of myself slipping up. I was actually a little bit annoyed with that move from Kyle Larson. You see me right there. I throttled up way too early because I was trying to get to his back bumper and run into him and kind of mess myself over in the process. Now as I kind of throw a chop right there on the 77 Suarez to make sure he cannot get past me. So then now lap 63, the caution comes out with 5 laps to go, which means we're going to be forced into a 2-lap dash where Ryan Blaney continues to lead the way. He was checked out at this point. Even Derek Kraus couldn't run him down because he was stuck battling other drivers like Christopher Bell. So now, all of a sudden, here we go, getting ready to go green for a 2-lap dash in regulation here from 9th place. Eric Jones, Joey Logano, Rajah Caruth, and Ryan Blaney, all of the cars on the inside in front of us now as the green flag is back out and we are underway. Just trying to get a top 10 with this Razor Flames paint scheme at this point was just the main goal here as we go down towards turns 1 here. Now as Jones gets aggressive, makes a 3 wide with Logano and Smith. I'm going to make a 4 wide, very aggressive here, and all of a sudden out of turns 2, we're almost in the top 5. Restart of a lifetime here in Kentucky, as this gives us an opportunity to maybe win this race with this advantage here, up into the top 5, up the inside now of Christopher Bell as we get a little bit of contact there. At this point, I'm going to use every single car I can to my advantage, run into the side of them, do whatever we got to do, because white flag is in the air. Ryan Blaney leading the way into turns 1 on this final lap. Caruth there in second, Kraus in P3. Both of those guys looking for their first career wins as now we get out of turn 2. I push up the track and that destroys the momentum, unfortunately, now as we're still side by side with Kraus, but he gets clear into turn 3. He goes high and so does Caruth, and Blaney goes in the middle. Here we have an opportunity to get to the 25. I sail it off and they're just trying to get to him. It doesn't happen. Into the wall we go out of 4 and contact again with the wall after hitting the 45. The caution actually comes out moments before the line. Ryan Blaney wins either way, and the caution came out. We got credited with 7th place here in the Quaker State 400. What a restart we just had in overtime. We went from 9th to 2nd in a lap and 3/4, and all of a sudden we had an opportunity to win the race. And I knew my only shot right there was to just get into the back or the side or the quarter panel of the number 25 of Ryan Blaney, and I really wanted to win that race because this is the only time we go to Kentucky this season. And obviously that was our final chance to win at Kentucky in the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode there. As you see, Bubba Wallace, Tony Bradinger, as well as Harrison Burton all had DNFs there. Unfortunately now, as in the next one, we do go to Dover there in the Truck Series as well. as the Xfinity Series. But what a finish. If you guys enjoyed, of course, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this episode. I really do appreciate it. Now, as in the Cup Series, we go to one of my probably least favorite short tracks on the schedule, and that is Richmond. But the same episode where McLaren and NASCAR announced there's an investigation on Gordon-Hendrick Motorsports for potential cheating or exploiting, well, we actually win again. So we have now won 8 of the 10 races. We've got 80% of the season won right now with this Gordon-Hendrick team. It's been unreal. But there you see Briscoe, the last driver in the playoffs right now, over Kyle Busch, who is now 10 points below the cut line for Joe Gibbs Racing. But before we end it, of course, as usual, just would like to say thank you to the Going Racing members on the channel of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasura, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana9302, King Matt XL, Speed Demon 341, as well as Illinois Diecast. I appreciate you guys' support so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.